Signs of Awakening, The Hidden Powers of the Soul. Chapter 1, The Whisper of the Invisible. There comes a moment in a human life when the ordinary begins to fracture. The fabric of reality, once so solid and unquestioned, suddenly loosens. Through those cracks, something larger, stranger, more luminous begins to shine. This is the birth of awakening, the stirring of the soul. At first, it arrives like a murmur. A fleeting déjà vu, so vivid it feels like a memory bleeding through time. A dream that lingers in the bones long after the morning light has erased it from the mind. A sudden intuition that the phone will ring, moments before it does. These are not coincidences. These are the first sparks, the quiet whispers of a soul remembering its eternal nature. To awaken is to cross the threshold from a life lived in forgetfulness to a life lived in communion with the hidden. It is to tear through the veil and rediscover the ancient powers that were always yours but lay dormant, buried beneath noise, distraction, and centuries of disbelief. The mystics of old, Hermetic adepts, Sufi whirling dervishes, Taoist sages, and Kabbalists alike, spoke of this path. They all knew that within the heart of every human lies a divine seed. When that seed stirs, the individual ceases to be merely human. They become a vessel of gnosis, an initiate into the greater mysteries of existence. Chapter 2, The First Signs. How does one know the soul has begun its ascent? It does not shout, it does not arrive with thunder. It unveils itself in signs, subtle yet undeniable. 1. Heightened sensitivity to energy. Suddenly, you can sense the invisible currents around you. A room is no longer just a space, it breathes. You feel tension thicken the air when conflict arises, or a warm serenity when love fills it. Your skin tingles when someone's gaze lingers, your chest tightens near falsehood. The body becomes an oracle, a living compass that detects truth and shadow alike. 2. Synchronicity. Life begins to speak to you in symbols. Numbers repeat, 11:11 on the clock, 22:22 on receipts. A book falls from a shelf that answers the very question haunting you. Strangers cross your path at the precise moment to hand you fragments of wisdom. Coincidence dissolves into orchestration, and you realize the universe is alive, weaving a tapestry that whispers directly to you. 3. A still point amidst chaos. The world rages, the cities roar, yet within you emerges a sanctuary of silence. In the eye of every storm, you find yourself anchored. There is a temple within you that no calamity can breach. It is here that the soul rests, watching the tides of existence with calm eyes. 4. An unshakable intuition. You no longer need proof. You know. You sense the lies hidden in sweet words. You perceive the truth hidden in silence. Decisions once agonizing are now simple, because the soul has begun to speak in a voice clear and undeniable. 5. Glimpses of ancient memory. Suddenly, a landscape you've never walked feels familiar. A language you do not speak tastes known on your tongue. Wisdom flows from you as though remembered rather than learned. These are the libraries of your soul, awakening after lifetimes of slumber. Signs of Awakening, The Hidden Powers of the Soul. Chapter 3, The Veil Thins. When the soul awakens, reality itself begins to shimmer. What was once dense and solid reveals itself as fluid, woven from energy and consciousness. The walls of the world grow transparent, and you begin to perceive the unseen layers of existence. It often begins with flickers of light at the corner of your vision, or shadows that move though nothing physical is there. You might sense presences in empty rooms, watchers, guides, or fragments of souls still tethered to this plane. The veil that separates the physical from the subtle begins to thin, and you are no longer confined to the ordinary spectrum of sight and sound. The ancients called this clairvoyance, the clear seeing. It is not fantasy. It is the natural vision of the awakened soul. The third eye, long dormant, pulses with new fire, and with it you begin to perceive the truth hidden beneath appearances. Auras, the luminous field surrounding all beings, colored by emotion and thought, shimmer into view. You see anger as a red vibration, serenity as pale blue radiance, love as golden warmth. Energy currents, the flow of life force, chi, prana, ruach, pneuma, becomes visible. You watch it move through trees, rivers, even the stones beneath your feet. Thought forms, human emotions, once unseen, reveal themselves as shapes, symbols, or clouds of force drifting from their creators. And with this vision comes responsibility. For when you can see truth, lies become unbearable. When you perceive energy, you can no longer pretend you are separate from the world. The awakened one knows, every thought, every word, every gesture vibrates outward into eternity. Soon another power awakens, telepathy. It comes gently, almost playfully at first. You know what someone will say before they speak. You share a thought with a friend, and they laugh, "I was just thinking that." But as the soul strengthens, this faculty deepens. Words are no longer needed, minds touch across silence. With loved ones, entire conversations flow without a sound. With strangers, a single glance transmits understanding. The mystics say this is not a new gift but the original language of humanity. Before words carved separation, we spoke in the pure resonance of thought. Telepathy is the memory of unity stirring again. For some, it reaches further. You sense the thoughts of animals, the silent wisdom of trees. You hear the call of someone miles away in a moment of need. In dreams, you converse with souls across continents. Yet this too demands discernment. To hear another's thought is to touch their soul nakedly. One must wield it with compassion, never intrusion. The awakened telepath becomes a guardian of inner sanctity, not a thief of secrets. Chapter 5, The Dream That Was Not a Dream. As awakening deepens, sleep itself transforms. The dream realm, once chaos and fragments, reveals its true face, the astral plane. At first, you may simply wake from dreams that feel more real than waking life. You may fly, converse with luminous beings, or explore ancient temples built of light. But soon, you learn that these are not dreams in the sense the world teaches, they are journeys. The soul leaves the body, tethered by a silver cord of energy, and roams free. This is astral projection, a gift as old as humanity. The Egyptians knew it. The shamans practiced it. Mystics across ages spoke of traveling, in the spirit, to learn, to heal, to commune. Signs of this power stirring include the sensation of floating or vibrating as you fall asleep. Hearing a rushing sound, like wind or cosmic static, before separation. Waking with memories of distant lands, unfamiliar stars, or conversations with teachers cloaked in light. At first, these journeys may frighten. The body feels fragile, the unknown vast. But as courage grows, the astral traveler discovers infinite wonders, the ability to visit the souls of the departed, to wander sacred realms, to bring back wisdom that reshapes waking life. And in time, you learn the truth, the physical body is but one garment of the soul. Death itself is revealed not as an end, but as the simplest of awakenings. Signs of awakening, the hidden powers of the soul. Chapter 6, The Hands of Light. As the veil thins and the soul blossoms, a new current begins to flow through you. At first, it appears as warmth in the palms, tingling in the fingertips, or a surge of heat when you touch another. But soon you realize, this is healing fire, the awakened life force. Every culture has spoken of it, the Reiki masters of Japan, the Chi healers of China, the shamans of the Americas, the mystics of Egypt. They knew that the human being is not merely flesh and bone, but a channel of divine energy. When awakened, you become a vessel through which this force flows. You lay your hand upon a friend's shoulder, and their pain softens. You breathe with intention, and the atmosphere of an entire room shifts. You visualize light entering a wound, and the body remembers its wholeness. Healing is not about fixing. It is about remembering wholeness. The awakened healer becomes a mirror in which others rediscover their own soul's power to heal itself. But beware, true healing requires humility. The power is not yours, it belongs to the eternal source, flowing through you as long as you remain open, compassionate, and pure of intention. Chapter 7: The Alchemy of Energy. With the ability to sense and direct energy comes the art of alchemy. Not the crude transmutation of lead into gold, but the subtler and higher mastery, transforming vibration. Everything is energy. Thoughts are currents. Emotions are frequencies. Matter itself is crystallized spirit. To awaken is to remember this, and to learn how to shape it. You discover that anger can be transmuted into courage. Fear can be distilled into wisdom. Desire can be refined into devotion. Through meditation, breath, and will, you become an alchemist. You no longer drown in emotions, you redirect them. You no longer remain bound by circumstance, you shift it by altering your inner frequency. This is why mystics radiate serenity even in chaos. They have mastered the furnace within. They turn leaden suffering into golden illumination. And the awakened soul begins to realize, the outer world bends to the inner state. Change yourself, and the world reshapes around you. Their thoughts like leaves in the wind. The awakened concentrate them into a beam of fire. You envision abundance with clarity, and opportunities flow to you. You focus on love with purity, and your relationships transmute. You send out healing intention, and across oceans another soul feels it. But here too lies a hidden trial. Manifestation is not for the ego's whims. It is for the soul's alignment. To awaken is to realize that the truest creations are those which harmonize with the great rhythm of the cosmos. Manifest selfishly, and the energy will collapse upon itself. Manifest in harmony with spirit, and the universe conspires to weave your vision into being. The awakened one learns the paradox: true power comes not from grasping, but from surrendering to the divine will. Closing of Part 3. And so, the soul awakens to its hidden capacities, the hands that heal, the mind that shapes energy, the heart that manifests realities. Each gift is both a wonder and a responsibility, for to wield them is to walk the razor's edge between ego and eternity. The journey continues, toward communion with divine beings, the remembrance of past lives, and the ultimate unveiling, the recognition of yourself as infinite consciousness. Forget not to subscribe for more videos, for the path of awakening has only just begun.